In this video, I want to share with you an insanely easy, fast and effective way to get absolutely everything you desire in every area of life. No matter your background, no matter your past, no matter your experience when it comes to manifesting. Because you can have it all. Hello my beautiful superheroes, welcome back to my channel, the place where we make the impossible possible. If you're new here, hi. I'm Scarlett Grace, I'm a manifestation coach, and I'm here to help you manifest your heart's desires and a life that's better than your wildest dreams. Today, I want to talk to you about an insanely simple way to get all your desires in every area of life. The technique that I want to share with you today is a secret Neville Goddard technique, but it's not secret because nobody knows about it. It is secret because it is hiding in plain sight. It is so deceptively easy and simple that even the people who have read about it didn't realize this is a valid manifestation technique. This is a technique that can make miracles happen in every area of your life. I'm going to share with you Neville's personal experience with this technique as well as my experience and explain to you how to apply it to create instant shifts in your reality, in every area of reality. But before we jump into this, if you want to learn how to manifest any desire fast with the law of assumption and Neville Goddard's teachings, then subscribe and hit the bell icon. I also have several self-study courses to help you manifest, including a 21-day course on how to manifest your specific person that was recently updated and has more bonuses, more meditations, and more materials and tools to help you manifest your specific person even faster. And if you need some extra help or my personal advice for your situation, coaching is open. Also, don't forget to download the free meditations that I have prepared for you to help you manifest your desires. You will find the links for all of those things in the description below. The technique that I'm about to share with you can unlock any kind of manifestation in every area of your life. In fact, if you have wanted something in a specific area of life and you seem to not be able to manifest in that area of life, even though you can manifest with ease in every other area of life, this is the technique that you need. So for example, if you can manifest money, but you don't seem to be able to manifest what you want with a specific person, this is what you need. Or if you can manifest anything you want with a specific person, but you can't seem to manifest money, this is the technique you need. Before I explain how to actually use it, let's hear what Neville has to say about this technique. This comes from the lecture, Awake, O Sleeper. And here's what Neville has to say. He says, I know, in my own case, my family had really no financial, social, intellectual, or any other background of mention. But my mother did not allow her 10 children to know that. And if any of us did anything that mother, well, she wasn't exactly ashamed of it, but she thought it could be better, and it was something that we really should not have done, she would then say to us, have you forgotten that you are a Goddard? She made the name important. It had no importance whatsoever, but she made it important. So she treated us as though we as a family were important. The result is that she lived long enough to see her family grow into importance in the community, all pulling their weight and being very important in their community. Now you can start it with any family in this world and treat the family as though they were important. Unfortunately, our parents think they are doing the right thing when they compare us to a neighbor and find us wanting. Why can't you be like so-and-so? Right away, it implies you are not as good as, and so, if that's the seed she is planting for the child has to do that. But if you will take any child and then, not flatter it, no, but in your mind's eye, see it as important and treat it in your mind's eye as though it were, see it successful. I read here, maybe 8 or 10 years ago, the famous men in the theatrical world whose mothers always looked upon them as most important. Clifton Webb was one whose mother, from the time he was a little baby, treated him as most important, and they mentioned about 8 or 10 or 12 of them. Each rose to stardom in the theatrical world because they had mothers who treated them in a different manner. And so, the story came out in the magazine I read. I know it's only based upon a single law if the mothers knew it. Well, whether they knew it or not, that's how they acted, and it's simply putting into effect God's law. Now let's take a look at what Neville is saying here. Neville says that there was nothing important about his family and their family name. It wasn't a recognizable name. They didn't have money. They didn't come from a family that had titles and estates and money and anything special. They didn't come from a background where one of their ancestors had made some special accomplishment. They didn't have any social standing. There was absolutely nothing special or important about his family. It was just a simple family with 10 children struggling to make ends meet. His mother, though, didn't treat the family that way. His mother treated the family as if there was something very important about the family, as if they were an old family with a high social standing, with money that people had high expectations of. And she didn't do it by telling the children a lie, like our family is very important. No. What she did was, every time they did something she didn't approve of, every time they did something she thought could be done better, what she said was, "Have you forgotten that you're a Goddard?" And she said that as though Goddard is the name of some kind of very important family, as if it's royalty. The result of that was, all 10 children of the family, when they grew up, they became important people. People who did great things. And then Neville goes on to talk about an article that he read about the most important people in theatre, and how for all of them, the common element was found to be that they had mothers that treated them as if they were important and would accomplish great things when they grew up. And that was the common thing among the 10 or 12 people that were the most successful in the theatre world. Now, here's the thing. You may already know that in order to manifest anything you want, you need to shift your identity. You need to become the version of you that already has what you want. This is what this technique is based on. This technique is an identity shifting or identity building technique if you're a child. What Neville's mother did by using that phrase, "Have you forgotten that you're a Goddard?" was build an identity in all of her children to feel that they are important people and they should hold themselves to high standards and expect great things to happen in their lives. And guess what? You can start doing the same thing for yourself right now. I know the technique talks about what his mother did for the children and how the people who were successful had mothers who basically instilled in them an identity of importance, but that doesn't mean that your mother has to do it for you as you grow up. You can do it right now for yourself. Of course, if you have children, definitely use the technique for your children so that they grow up to be successful and be able to manifest anything they want. But you can start right now creating a legacy for your own name, for yourself. Have you ever come across any people that it feels as if they always have everything? They come from families that have money and high social status, and they're beautiful, and they always get what they want? You can be that person from now on, just by deciding that your name is a very important name. It doesn't matter if there is no such background. It doesn't matter what your ancestors did. You can decide that this is not true. You can decide that your name is important. And because your name is important, because there is so much success and power behind your name, it is your destiny, it is your birthright to have everything. Think for a moment that you come from a family that has very high social status and a lot of money, and they always get everything they want in every area of life. What would it feel like if that were your family? Can you catch that feeling? Can you pretend for a moment that you belong to that powerful family? I want you to catch that feeling and then pretend that that feeling applies to your family, to your background. And then for whatever it is that you want to manifest, whatever you had been struggling with in the past, I want you to say with conviction, "Of course I can have it. It's already mine. I am X." So let's say that your name is Amy Johnson. You will say, "Of course this thing is already mine. I am Amy Johnson." And say that with conviction. Say that as if the name Amy Johnson would make everybody think, "Yeah, of course she could have it. She's one of the Johnsons." You are Amy Johnson. You are a legend. Your family is a legend. You are a legend in this thing, whatever it is that you want to manifest. Let's say it's money. The Johnsons, everything they touch turns to gold, and you're a Johnson. Everything you touch turns to gold. It is your birthright to have money. It is your birthright to be successful. Or it can be love. The Johnsons, they always have the best marriages and the best relationships. The Johnson women always get the guys or the people that they want. The Johnson men always have the person that they want. Always. They're known for their lack in love and how successful they are in dating and in their relationships. And you are a Johnson. Of course this is yours. Of course you're gonna have amazing romantic relationships. Of course you're gonna have a great marriage. This is your birthright because you're a Johnson. And you can use that with everything. Let's say that you want to have a career as a singer. You are a Johnson. The Johnsons are a very musical family. The Johnsons have had generations of super successful musicians, and you don't just have the Johnson talent, you also have the Johnson connections and all the doors open for you because you're a Johnson. That's what you tell yourself. The background doesn't need to be there. You just have to assume that this background exists and claim the feeling of, I am a Johnson, of course this is mine, it's my birthright. It's what the Johnsons do. And anytime you have any thoughts of doubt, like I can't do this or maybe it will not happen for me, you stop yourself and you remind yourself, hey, I am a Johnson. It is my birthright to have it. Of course it's already mine, duh. If you keep saying that to yourself and if you start carrying yourself as if you are an important person, somebody who everybody else would recognize as an important person with high social standing, with money, with a lot of talent, with very high intellect, with a ton of beauty, then without even saying anything, people will start treating you differently and you will start seeing doors open in your life, paths opening up that weren't available to you before, because this is an identity shift. And identity shifts cause the biggest manifestations. They truly shift you to a different reality, a completely different reality, instantly. A shift in identity means you have become a completely different person. So whatever limitations you had in the past, they do not apply anymore. They're not your limitations anymore. That's why it doesn't matter what happened for you in the past. It doesn't matter because you're not the same person anymore. You are a new person with a completely new set of possibilities and paths and options that weren't available to you before, but they are all yours now, because it is your birthright to have all those things. This is a method that I've been using on my own ever since I was a kid. Before I even knew about Neville, before I even read about manifesting and how to use it, I kept thinking like that. And it manifested things for me that other people couldn't have. So, for example, access to places where I shouldn't be. When I was a teenager, when I was about 13, I was visiting one of my friends in another city for Christmas. And she wanted to get into a place. It wasn't exactly a club, but it was a place where kids as young as we weren't allowed in. And even kids that were a couple of years older than us, in order to get in, they had to dress a specific way and wear very heavy makeup. And my friend and her friends were from pretty conservative families and they had strict parents. So they weren't allowed to wear the kinds of clothes that you had to wear to get into a place like that. And they weren't allowed to leave the house wearing very heavy makeup. So they couldn't get in. Every time they tried, they just wouldn't let them in. So I heard about this and I was like, no worries, I can get us in. And they all looked at me in a weird way because when I was 13, I looked like 9 or 10. I didn't look like the older kind of person who could get them in. Maybe if they had a cousin or an older sister, they could get them in. But I definitely didn't look like the kind of person who could get herself into that place, let alone anybody else. But guess what? I got them in, no questions asked, because I always was able to walk into any place I wanted, and people treated me as if I belonged there, and I can still do it. Always, my whole life, I could always get into any place I wanted, no matter if I looked the part, just because I had this conviction that I am an important person who belongs there, so people automatically tend to treat me like I belong there. And they automatically tend to treat me as if I were an important person, as if I were a celebrity. And this happens everywhere. I think I've mentioned before how I have friends that avoid shopping at specific places and order online instead because the employees are not helpful. Well, if they go with me, every employee is helpful and I'm treated as if I'm Rihanna that went to shop there. I don't do anything. I just always assume at the back of my mind that I am an important person and I'm going to be treated like royalty, like a celebrity. And because I've been doing it ever since I was a kid, I don't have to consciously think about it. It just manifests. If you haven't done it before, start right now at this very moment. Assume that your name carries huge value, that it carries weight, that everybody respects it, that everything you want is your birthright. Of course it is yours. Of course you're going to have it. Everybody just wants to give you the things you want. That's who you are. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment below to let me know, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon because I put out new videos every Sunday to help you manifest an amazing life.